The COVID-19 pandemic has affected every aspect of our lives. And for those in the business of insurance, COVID-19 carries major implications both for the short term and the years and decades to come. In today's AIC Quick Talk, we asked the leaders of the ASEAN Insurance Council for their insights on the impact of this pandemic to the industry. How is the industry doing in the midst of COVID-19? Are there opportunities in this crisis? Are there lessons to be learned? Answers to these questions and more here on AIC Quick Talk.
Good morning. Welcome to AIC Quick Talk. I am Junep Ocampo, and today we will interview 14 insurance industry leaders from 9 different countries in Southeast Asia. Thanks to the magic of technology, we will be asking them one by one on how the insurance industry is doing in the midst of COVID-19. Joining us via Zoom from Bandar Seri Begawan is the chairman of the Brunei Insurance and Takaful Association. Please welcome Mr. Klaus Tomalya of Vita. Klaus, how is the mood of the business in Brunei right now?
So the mood is quite positive now. Of course, 50% were quite heavily hit. So in the market, mainly food, beverages, and hotel industry, travel industry. So of course, these were the most hit industries. Oil and gas, I think it's all overall. Yeah, it's not only because of COVID or all what happened with organically. Organically, we have a 0% growth. It's very flat, but this is also before COVID. Yeah, so unfortunately, our industry is not growing that fast or strong. Quite substantial, from 44.6 million to 53.8 million, and conventional grew just by 1 million, from 35 million to 36 million. So Takaful grew more than conventional insurance. This is mainly motor is a big part, because Takaful is in our market very strong in motor, and obviously they have also the one or the other oil and gas business, because there are only a few companies who are offering oil and gas protection, and as we are a small market with 5 insurance companies, 3 conventional and 2 Takaful. So oil and gas is mainly covered by Takaful.
Thank you, Klaus, for those insights. Now we move to Phnom Penh. Joining us is the chairman of the Insurance Association of Cambodia, Mr. Huy Vataro. Good morning, Taro. Can you tell us about the situation there in Cambodia?
Even having this COVID-19 pandemic disruption, the whole insurance market premium still enjoy the positive growth of 9.6% year-on-year for the first half of 2020. Okay. And the growth was driven by the increase of general insurance, increasing 17.5%, while the life insurance segment was up 5.2%, and the micro insurance dropped 17.7% year-on-year. However, the new business in life insurance market decreased. Yeah, we see the first time decrease for the new business. It was down 24.3% for the first half of 2020. Overall, the life and micro insurance market are expected to be impacted significantly by the COVID-19 pandemic. although the impact on the insurance sector is less severe, we believe there will be a significant and highly disruptive, as I said, especially for life and micro insurance.
Now we move to Jakarta to enlighten us on what's happening in the general insurance sector of Indonesia. We have with us today the chairman of the Indonesia General Insurance Association, Pak Hastanto Sri Marji Widodo. Pak Widodo, good morning. Please tell us about the impact of COVID-19 to your industry in Indonesia.
Okay, so if you're asking about the COVID impact in Indonesia, especially for the general insurance, two drivers actually on the insurance business of Indonesia. One is the car and the MV portfolio, motor vehicle portfolio. We see that on the second quarter we see a lot of decrease. It is 16%. Why it is decreasing so heavily? Because if you look at the car manufacturing output during April, May, June, and July, the numbers of production, it's still way beyond what we actually produced last year. So the other part is actually also that we see the decrease in the insurance is on the hotel or business related to leisure. See, the hotel occupancy ratio, despite that we have quite some improvement already on the domestic part, for the international part, you could see that even though that the current occupancy ratio of the hotel is already like 26% or half compared to what it is happening last year, the occupancy ratio of the hotel in Bali, which is on the red line, is still like 2.57%. We are forced to have a digital transformation. So people previously be reluctant to digital transformation, like it or not, they have to transform themselves to a digital transformation of their how to do business. So at least we have a forced digital transformation of the whole infrastructure, insurance infrastructure, and then we start seeing that local insurance, even a bit traditional ones, start to functioning with the remote working already. Myself, in Asuransi Bintang, I already declared that we will have the work from home forever. So this is the new working model, which will be permanently executed. So I think we will go to another level of efficiency. So cannot work with the current model, and everybody was forced to do it. And then there will be other people who will be surviving. If they survive, they will be on another level of efficiency in terms of the operating model. So,
thank you, Pak Widodo. Since we're already in Jakarta, we'll interview now the Deputy Chairman or the Deputy Chairperson of the Indonesian Life Insurance Association, Ibu Elin Wati. Ibu Elin, good morning. How is the life insurance business in Jakarta or in Indonesia right now?
So the business performance of the life insurance industry in Indonesia, among others, actually is now impacted mostly by fluctuation of the capital markets. So especially because we sell a lot of unit-linked kind of product. Hence, we endure slowdowns in the first semester of 2020 as a result of the COVID pandemic's situations, which is, I think, experienced not only by life insurance, but it's also experienced by various industry. So it's not only life insurance in Indonesia. However, during this difficulty of times, we are actually, the industry continue to fulfill our commitment to contribute to the welfare of society, and society amidst slowdowns and challenging situation. There are a couple actions that we have been done as industry. One, we continue to pay COVID-19 claims during this period of times, even though our government has declared it is a pandemic. So when it's called, it is a pandemic supposed to be borne by the governments, but in reality, actually, the industry agree that we will pay the COVID-19 claims. And then also that after a while, talking to the regulations, we really encourage digital innovation implementations by promoting adjustment to marketing procedure for investment-linked insurance product, and we got the approvals from our associations, right, from our regulator, which is that helped a lot for the industry, because during the lockdown or semi-lockdowns, people are not willing to meet our agents, so that is helped a lot. And we also increase focusing on increased number of agents to continue supporting the entrepreneurship during economic uncertainty, because we know that a lot of people are losing their job during this period. So we are focusing to do more recruitments of the agent to help them.
Thank you, Ibu Elin, for that comprehensive response. Now we go to Malaysia. Speaking from Kuala Lumpur is the chairman of the Malaysian General Insurance Association, Mr. Anthony Lee. Anthony, good morning. So what's the status of the General Insurance Association of Malaysia right now?
The general insurance industry registered its steepest half-year drop in recent years as we bore the full brunt of COVID-19. Gross direct premiums declined 3.6%, unfortunately, for the first half. That amounts to 8.6 billion ringgit. Given this sobering backdrop, we expect an extremely challenging full year. The pandemic has yet to be fully played out. We don't know whether we will have a second lockdown or not. And because of these deep uncertainties in the external environment, we expect the industry to decline further for the full year. And the road to recovery will take some time. It will be long and arduous.
And now we move to the Malaysian Life Insurance Association. We have with us Mr. Mark Podell, the chairman of the association. Mark, good morning. Please enlighten us on what's happening in the life insurance sector in Malaysia.
So first, just as a reference to the movement control order and the what they call the conditional movement control order, which was following, imposed by the government from March 18th to June 9th, really curtailed significantly the ability to see customers face to face. The life insurance industry at that time, through the first 2 quarters of the year, was down a modest 12.5% in new business premium. Most of that occurred in Q2, where we saw more than a 20% drop. The largest part of that drop was in investment-linked new sales, which really makes some sense because those products, being a bit more complex, often require a face-to-face meeting. Nevertheless, the industry saw a significant surge in online sales of temporary insurance, and that was a positive. It also really led to and became a catalyst, right, for the adoption of additional digital technology and the way it's used both to serve clients and to interact and to acquire new business. During the MCO and RMCO, insurers continued to serve policyholders nationwide. Most had reduced staffing, as I'm sure is present or consistent with other jurisdictions. Branches generally had remained open, and the digital platforms such as email, hotlines, portals, Facebook, direct distribution channels were used to supplement the maintenance of traditional modes of service and contact. During that time, insurers continued to issue guarantee letters for medical admissions, process claims, and renew policies. There were no major incidents or hiccups or disruptions during that time.
After Malaysia, we go to Myanmar. Joining us from Yangon is the chairperson of the Insurance Association of Myanmar, Dr. Sandar U. Dr. U, good morning. How is the insurance sector in Myanmar right now?
So the insurance business in our country did relatively well against target sets for the year. as top lines of our income statement are not seriously affected by the COVID-19 crisis. Let's say the premium income of our traveling insurance has been decreasing, but we have the increasing number of the health and also our life insurance. So this is also taken into account that Myanmar recovered from the pandemic with low rate of the inflation towards May to July. So resulting, and we have the good performance in our business. But so there could be a big negative impact on our business in coming months. So because Myanmar have seen the increasing number of COVID-19 positive confirmed cases since late August to until now. So that's why our business landscape has a lot of uncertainties surrounded by the COVID-19 and also the upcoming election in November 2020 this year. Thank you very much.
After Myanmar, we go to the Philippines. To give us an update on what's happening in the general insurance sector is Philippine Insurers and Reinsurers Association Chairman, Mr. Alan Santos. Sir Alan, what's the status of the general insurance sector now in the Philippines?
Good afternoon, Junep. Currently, balance sheets and P&Ls of non-life insurers in the Philippines are challenged to varying degrees. Those with a higher proportion of their investments in equities are feeling the pinch more, as the Philippine Stock Index dropped by about 25% from the end of last year. This is partially offset by appreciation in investments in government securities, as yields dropped by about 150 to 200 basis points across the curve year to date. Revenue generation is also hampered, especially in the motor and engineering lines, as automotive sales and the construction sector are expected to decline by as much as 40% and 10% this year, respectively. However, pandemic-related losses are minimal, as pandemics are generally excluded from non-life coverages. Certain lines, such as motor and medical, probably have better loss ratios year to date as a result of the lockdowns. Indeed, there are a few silver linings in this COVID-19 crisis. First is that it increased the awareness of the public on the need for insurance protection. Second is that it served as an impetus for insurers to step up their digitalization initiatives. And thirdly, it highlights the need for the public and the private sector to work together to improve disaster resilience and financial inclusion. Yes, as I mentioned in the press conference this morning, I think that one lesson that can be learned from this COVID-19 pandemic is that we have to work together, not just within our countries, but also across the ASEAN region and around the globe, to allow us to overcome this crisis.
Thank you, sir, for that update. And now we go to the Philippine Life Insurance Association. With us now is the president of PLIA, Mr. Benedict Sison. Sir Benedict, can you give us an update on the life insurance sector in the Philippines?
Now, if we focus on the life insurance industry, yes, we have been moderately impacted in our new business generation. And this was especially true during the first half of the year when we experienced restrictions in mobility, prohibitions of mass gatherings, social distancing mandates, etc. However, as we speak, life insurance companies are gradually picking up. And thanks, of course, to the responsiveness of our insurance commission in providing regulatory relief, concessions, and ably adjusting to the demands for the new normal processes that are actually digitally based. Among the key initiatives that the IC had undertaken were allowing us to sell via remote information and communications technology assisted process in place of the traditional face-to-face selling, and introducing an online portal for the submission and approval of new products. Now, these and other initiatives help boost the industry's capacity to provide seamless service to the insuring public at a time when they need it the most, and when the productivity of our existing insurance agents has been curtailed by the pandemic.
Thank you for that update, Sir Benedict. And now we go to Singapore. To give us an update on the latest happenings or latest news about the Life Insurance Association of Singapore, we have with us Mr. Cor Hock Seng. Good morning, sir. So what's the latest now in the life insurance sector in Singapore?
Overall, in the first half, the industry dropped by 13% in new business when we calculate it on a weighted premium basis. So it dropped by 13%, but there is a silver lining, while the drop is 13% overall, it is very much due to the regular premium side. The regular premium has shown a big drop, but the silver lining is that in the first half, the industry recorded a 17% year-on-year increase in weighted single premium, so which is very much very simple products, savings product, where people can actually buy digitally with the help of the intermediaries, but they can do the whole transaction digitally. So what you see is that during the circuit breaker and phase 1 of in Singapore, when all the social gatherings were prohibited, sales of non-participating endowment single premium, as I mentioned, has gained traction. And this is because it's simple, it provides reasonably good value, and it's easy to communicate and discuss over a phone or over a video conferencing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Hock Seng. We were not able to interview Mr. Craig Ellis, the president of the General Insurance Association of Singapore, but Mr. Ellis sent a written update on his sectors. And let me read. The general insurance sector registered a 3% growth and was profitable in the first half of 2020 compared to 2019 when we made a loss. While the pandemic has impacted the performance of certain segments of the business, such as credit and surety, we saw improved performance in several other segments, such as motor, health, and fire. COVID-19 has changed the way of life for many and dramatically impacted consumers' protection needs and demands. Living the new normal means consumers' behaviors and the types of insurance products relevant to them have changed. As for the lessons, Mr. Ellis said, timeliness, efficacy, and agility are a few key features of Singapore's post-pandemic recovery strategy, and they have been vital in helping contain social and economic disruptions from the pandemic. Thank you, Mr. Ellis, for this update. And now we go to Thailand. Speaking from Bangkok is the president of the Thai Life Insurance Association, Khun Sara Lamsam. Khun Sara, good morning. You're still in the car. So how is the situation in Thailand right now?
You see on the first half of the year, the GDP action is about negative 12%, which is, of course, I assume that most of the many countries and including Thailand, that we probably going to see the negative GDP anyway for the whole year. Somehow has predict about 8 or even 10% on the minus, of the GDP for this year. And that is also back to the life insurance. We have seen that the 6 months is probably about for the total premium is minus about 3%. Actually, the number on the 7 months already came out. It's also minus 4%. So Thai Life Association has been projected that probably for the whole year, total premiums might be between -3 to -5. I hope that it might be a little bit more, but I hope it should be that. Is that actually we learn, we've been talking a lot before COVID about the digital disruptions, and we talk, like all the word like agile, design thinking or whatever on this thing, and then many of the things that it's a good word, it's a good concept, and then I think many companies been trying to doing it, but it will never happen in terms of execution for this thing. But having COVID is like giving you a lot of the pressure thing that, hey, if you not do something like this, if you not sort of start to think like the way as the end-to-end process, like this is the whole company, not a silo mentality or something like this, then you're not gonna be able to break through.
After Thailand, now we go to Vietnam. We gave us an update on the Insurance Association of Vietnam. Is the Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Ngo Trung Dung. Good morning, sir. So how is it right now? How is it with the Insurance Association of Vietnam right now?
Despite the effect of COVID-19 pandemic, the insurance industry in Vietnam maintains growth, and we estimate that in 8 months of 2020, the total premium of the industry reached nearly 14 trillion Vietnam dong, increased by more than 15%. And the total premium of non-life insurance market would reach about 36,000 million dong, increased by 6%, whereas the non-life life sector reached nearly 78,000 dong, increased by more than 20%. As far as non-life insurance sector is concerned, in 8 months of 2020, nearly all classes of insurance still grow, except cargo and aviation insurance decreased. But the growth rate is lower than last year. Example, motor vehicle increased by 6%, health insurance 4%, property and casualty 9%, and health and P&I increased by 6%. Cargo insurance decreased by 10%, and aviation insurance decreased by 16%. The loss ratio reduced about 4% comparing with the same period last year, as the social isolation leads to the decrease in transport, traveling, and thus the accidents reduced. Regarding life insurance market, the quantity of new insurance policies reached nearly 2 million new policies, increased by more than 10% against the same period last year, in which health insurance increased the most, nearly double, and unit-linked term life, whole life insurance rose between 15-20%. But endowment decreased 23%, and pension insurance sharply decreased at about 72%. Looking at the performance of life insurance market in 8 months, we trust that the life insurance sector would reach the target of growth rate of around 20%, and non-life sector would grow at around 6 or 7% in 2020. For example, normally the non-life insurance sector in Vietnam increased recently by around 14-15%, but now just increased by 6 or 7%. That means it still grows, but the growth rate slows down. Or life insurance, for example, now it grows at around 20%, but before, for example, last year, it grew at 29%. That's why I think more or less COVID-19 pandemic has been affecting the industry, but not so much. And I think we can survive it.
We also interviewed this year's AIC chairman, Kun Nopadol Santipakorn from the Thailand General Insurance Association. He gave us an update on on the changes that he sees in the industry in the coming months or the years because of this COVID-19 pandemic. He's our chairman, Kun Nopadol. Good morning, sir.
Well,
we are confronting with the new normal, and I'm not able to say that this is in the same in all member states. 10 countries will face with the same situation, but some country more rapidly change, some country gradually change, but every country going to face with the same situation that we have to change our paradigm, our mindset to operate the business. Before that, we going to face with, for example, digital disruption. But now, it looks like COVID-19 pandemic become the more faster catalyst. We have to change more faster. Well, for example, from this pandemic, it's already totally reset our way to do the business. In some country already face-to-face the client through internet, right? We have to set up our new business way to provide our service, our product, and include the claim service through the mobile system or online system. So it means our human resource in insurance industry also have to change their mindset to do the business. For insurance business, it is foreseeable that we going to change our current business model to digitalization, online instead of, and the duration, severity, or something else already changed. So some more requirement, faster service or something, faster payment. So all this is the situation which insurance industry have to adopt themselves.
Thank you, Khun Napadol. Thank you for those answers. And finally, this interview will not be complete without our beloved Secretary General, Ibu Evelina Pietruska, giving her insights on this COVID pandemic. Good morning, Ibu Evelina. So what lessons have you learned from this pandemic?
I believe when the COVID-19 happens, nobody ever thought that there's going to be a pandemic of this scale. And we're talking about the whole world. And we're talking about hundreds of thousands of lost, even millions been affected, but we lost so many lives in the whole world, you know. Some countries affected a lot, some countries less affected because of, you know, the way they handle things, but also when the size of the population also matters, you know. It's not easy to handle a pandemic in a big country, for example, Indonesia or even the United States. You know, in New York is the worst affected. In Europe, Spain, Italy was the very first and the worst affected. But I believe that this is something that human race should start waking up, yeah. And it feels like the world is being given a second chance. It's being rebuilt. Like if you talk about computer, you know, you turn it off again, you reset the whole system, and then you turn it on again. So in the World Economic Forum, they had this program called the Great Reset. So I believe that the world is being reset. It's being given a second chance by our Creator, you know, to actually realign ourselves. You know, we used to do things without considering the environment. You know, we We built factories that cause carbon, carbon that cause a negative effect on the air, on the planet which we live on, and then it caused global warming. Global warming caused earthquakes, caused a shake, displace in the earth, on the earth. So people are so ignorant, the human race are so ignorant of everything, and we are actually being given. I mean, God is still. He still loves us. He gave us a warning, and He give us a second chance. So I think leaders, not only the business leaders, but also the government leaders, should realign everything we do. And if we are sway from the right path, we should bring back ourselves and think through what we did wrong in the past, and then how we realign ourselves and go back to the right path.
Thank you for those wise words, Ibu Evelina. And thank you everybody for all your updates. Indeed, COVID-19 is a crisis never before experienced by the world. But the insurance industry is no stranger to crisis. It exists mainly because some things like COVID-19 cannot be predicted, cannot be foreseen. As one council, the 14 life and general insurance associations of ASEAN's member states will emerge stronger and wiser from this crisis only because they continue to work together. Thank you. This is Junep Ocampo, and this is your AIC Quick Talk.